Trying to do about our $31 million unfunded liability that the city has incurred that costs us about $2.3 million per year in interest alone.
I plan to win the Mega Millions and pay it off. You know, that will be an inherited debt that everyone on the council has to face. I do believe that there are needs for pension reform. I do think it needs to be a gradual thing. I don't think you can wave your magic wand and make that liability go away. It's been a long time in being developed, and it will take a long time to be paid off. I don't think you should be raising taxes to take care of it. I'm adamantly opposed to the idea of floating a bond to take care of it. When you see cities that have gone bankrupt recently, it's in part due to the fact that they tried to finance their pension debt with bonds, and they got cut up in the bond market. I would not support that. You know, it's a question that I think everyone on the council needs to be well aware of and be thinking about what are the ways to change the system, if needs be to change, to reduce that debt. It's going to be something that haunts my daughter Emily. It's going to be here for a while, and it does need to be resolved. It is not in the city's best interest to have it out there, and I think sooner than later it needs to be looked at.
Each March, when we have our workshop, we discuss the $31 million CalPERS pension unfunded liability. We pay $500,000 this past each fiscal year, 2012 and 2013 coming up. So now that brings it down to $30 million, but nevertheless, it's a big chunk. But we are making payments on it, and we'll continue to do so. We're saving in other ways. The second retirement tier for all bargaining groups have been implemented. We saved over $1 million in pension reform in 2009. We saved $22,000 by changing our workers' compensation administrator. We've saved over $200,000 in fire constant staffing. We have saved over $250,000 with the JPA, El Cajon, Mesa, and Lemon Grove in the fire stations, and there's more.
A website that I found very helpful, and you might too, is called pensionstsunami.com. And they have some guidelines for creating sustainable pensions. One of the things I don't like in pension discussions is when I hear people saying somebody didn't deserve that. I'm not the judge of that. If you have a choice of being a geologist or a peace officer or a fireman or a secretary and you make that choice, I'm not going to sit in judgment of that. As a council person, I absolutely have to say it has to be a sustainable pension for this city and not run us into debt or any further debt. And there are a number of things that we have to look at. Age at retirement is a big one. Years of service, percent of employee compensation, the cap on vestiture. You have to look at all of these different pieces. And for instance, a peace officer might have a different life of service than an office professional. Fine, let's talk about that. Maybe a fire person has different years of service than someone who's serving at a desk job. There's no tube sock answer to this. We have 3 different employee groups you have to deal with. But at the end of the day, no spiking. Let's hear it again. No spiking. We need to put all of those measures in place so that we can tell the taxpayers of La Mesa that these pensions are sustainable and keep our city solvent in the long run. In the meantime, as Ruth pointed out, we're paying down that $30 million, $500,000 a year.
Okay, there's really, short of bankruptcy, there's nothing that you can do to diminish that 31 or now $30 million debt. It's there. It's like a household who's charged $25,000 on their credit card. You can lament it all you want, but the only way to solve it is to pay it off. So I think that if the city of La Mesa is saving $200,000 a year, $45,000 there, $80,000 there, I think that money should be chunked away toward that pension so that it diminishes faster and faster. That $31 million debt cannot be changed, so all it can do is reduce. So the question becomes, how does La Mesa, as a city, raise its revenue without raising taxes or raising fees? How does it cut its costs? So this is what I'm good at. It's what I do in my household, what I do in my business. The city of La Mesa, on their website, for example, they have a list of all the vacancies in La Mesa. There's 450,000 square feet of retail, industrial, and office space. We need to fill them. On that page on our website, there should be a link so that businesses can say, hey, I'd like to own the old Kentucky Fried Chicken building. So what we should do then is bring in more businesses, which will raise our revenue. I also think we've got to eliminate blight in the city. The blight is depressing our real estate values. We eliminate the blight with ordinances already on the books, and we're going to see our property values go up, which increases our revenue. I think that the city of La Mesa should hunker down, and everywhere they can raise money, raise it and pay it like you would do your credit card. Not $500,000 a year, $1 million, $2 million, and it can be done. And that's the solution for the $31 million, and before you know it, not overnight, but it would be at a manageable level. As far as new hires go, the cat's out of the bag. Everywhere, cities have learned not to have these unsustainable pensions. So I think we're okay going forward. It's how to take care of the big mountain of debt behind us.
I think we can all agree that providing a stable retirement for the people that have worked so hard for the city, that have gone to fires and dangerous situations as police officers, that we don't begrudge them retirement that they've earned in a lot of cases from deferring their retirement. I think that we have a great city manager in Dave Witt, and I think the finance director, Sarah Waller-Bullard, I would defer to them on these issues because they do have a plan. They've been paying down $500,000 a year to get this working. I think we also have people that, believe it or not, in Sacramento are working out for the best interest of California and are trying to do things. Governor Brown has a plan that he has signed that managed to piss off everybody, I believe, which is the hallmark of something that might be a good plan. You know, it's eliminating the spiking, and it is also blanking out on the other main item of it, but it caps off those really high pensions. So I think we're going to get there, and I would defer to our fine Dave Witt and his crew to make sure that we're doing what we're looking out for is looking at what they tell us and determining whether we agree with it as a council.